Bring the turkey and cash, like always. That's the text on my screen when I lock my front door with my elbow and balance a reheated bowl of lentil soup on my palm. My jaw tightens like a rusted hinge. I'm Clara Bennett. I'm 30. I work the front desk at a pediatric clinic off High Street in Columbus, and I rent a third floor, one bedroom in an old brick building with a community room downstairs. Hamza, our building manager, is 41 and the sort of person who knows everyone's dog by name and where the extra folding chairs are. My older brother is Todd, 34. He's married to Allison, 33. They live on the west side and host Thanksgiving. Our mom, Isabel, is 59 and good at smoothing things until they disappear. Aunt Melanie is 56 and doesn't smooth anything. My cousin Jerome is 32 and travels with a giant crock pot like it's a carry-on. Aaliyah at work is 27 and reads my drafts before I text things I'll regret. I set the soup on the counter and open my banking app instead of the text. 412.17 to my name until I get paid next Friday. My rent jumped to $1,325 in September from $1,175. Last Friday, Midtown Auto Service, 460 sounds, swallowed what I'd managed to stash, brake pads and a noisy belt. The turkey last year was $58 at Kroger, and I handed Todd $100 in cash for the extras. Extras turned into a case of canned sparkling water and some paper pumpkins Allison never unwrapped. I go back to Todd's bubble. Bring the turkey and cash, like always. He sent it at 6:38. It's 6:41 now, Tuesday, November 12th, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. I thumb a reply, then backspace. Type again. I read it out loud because hearing it makes it real. I can cook, but I can't cover everything this year. I hover over the keyboard. Add rent went up and my car cost $406. Then delete it. I don't need to submit paperwork to my brother. I send the first sentence that goes blue and I feel that old heat climb my neck anyway, the one that used to hit in grade school when a teacher said, "Speak up, Clara." I put my phone face down and open the microwave. The soup is too hot. I stir it and stare at the little black spot on the stove where I once set down a pan too soon. The building creaks in the cold. Somewhere downstairs a neighbor laughs. The sound runs along the radiators. Past years play like a slideshow I didn't ask for. Me up at 5 a.m., brining and patting dry a bird the size of a toddler. Me in Todd's kitchen, sleeves rolled, roasting pan that barely fits his oven. Me fielding texts from relatives, what should I bring, and answering like a concierge. Todd posting a picture later. Feels good to host family. 30 likes. Couldn't do it without my sister, he typed one year, which translated to, Clara bought it, cooked it, scrubbed it, and handed me a wad of cash so I could take a bow. Allison is always polite and hectic, stacking plates and apologizing for the mess while Todd stands at the head of the table and taps his wine glass to make a little speech. Mom says things like, "Let's not make a big deal," and starts clearing plates while I'm still chewing. Aunt Melanie catches my eye and rolls hers. Jerome shows up with greens in that crock pot and cracks jokes under his breath about admission fees. My phone buzzes face down. I don't flip it yet. I rinse my spoon. I am not the emergency fund and the catering company and the cleanup crew rolled into one person. I'm a receptionist who smiles at sick toddlers and frantic parents and makes insurance sound less like a maze. I budget with a legal pad, and this month the numbers do not make room for a turkey and $100 in cash. I tap my phone. The home screen lights my thumb. I open messages, 3 dots pulsing. Aaliyah told me last week while I was handing out stickers to a kid in a dinosaur hoodie, "You've got to tell him before it's the week of." Say it plain. I nodded and pretended I was brave already. My building's community room pops into my head. Linoleum floors, a wall of windows into the courtyard, A rolling cart of chairs. Residents can book it. I've never used it for anything but voting. I shake the thought away and grab my bowl. The dots disappear. They reappear. My stomach does a small flip. I could call Mom first, give her a heads up, but I know exactly what she'll say. Honey, let's not turn this into a thing, which always means let it slide, and we'll all pretend we don't see it. I lift the spoon and burn my tongue, set it down, wipe the counter just to move my hands. Todd's, like always, is doing a lot of work in that sentence. Like always, me paying, me driving across town early to preheat his oven because his never heats evenly, me putting my name in the credits but not on the marquee. Like always is expensive. The screen lights again. Message received. My thumb hovers. The room suddenly feels too bright. The fridge hummed too loud. 3 dots pulse, and then his reply lands like a smack. Ungrateful. Don't bother coming. That's all he sends. No punctuation, no emoji. It hits harder because it's so bare. I stare at it until the screen goes dim, then wake it with my thumb and read it again, like maybe I misread. I didn't. Todd, my older brother who posts family first captions under pictures of my food, just disinvited me from Thanksgiving because I said I couldn't pay for it. Another banner slides down over it. Family thread. Heads up. Claire isn't coming this year. We'll handle it. Sent by Todd. The typing dots appear under it, hang there, then disappear. Nobody says anything. It's like someone unplugged the room. I swallow. I don't text back. I don't explain rent or brake pads or how my grocery list already has beans circled twice. I set the phone on the counter like it's hot. The microwave clock says 6:52, Tuesday, November 12th. Outside, a bus rattles past on High Street. The building buzzes, that winter-thick sound the radiators make when they're trying. My soup is lukewarm now. I take a bite, and it tastes like cardboard because my mouth is full of that old guilt, the one that makes my neck itch. Like always, he said. Like always I pay. Like always I show up early. Like always I hand him cash and keep quiet. I'm 30. I make schedules and copays make sense to scared parents, but I couldn't make this make sense to my brother in one sentence. My phone rings with Mom's name before I can get a second bite down. I let it go 2 rings so I don't sound eager. I pick up. Hey, Mom. She exhales into the phone. Let's not make this a big thing, honey. There it is. Her voice is soft and heavy, as if we've already fought and she's cleaning it up. I'm not, I say. I keep my voice flat. I told him I can cook, but I can't cover everything this year. Well, maybe your tone, she starts. Mom. I lean my hip into the counter, look at the tiny scorch mark on the stove. I literally wrote, I can cook, but I can't cover everything this year. A beat. I can picture her sitting at her small kitchen table, the light over the sink making a halo on the laminate. You know how your brother is, she says finally, the way you talk about weather. He's proud. He's proud of a dinner I pay for and cook, I say. I keep it plain like reading a label. Another sigh. He does a lot too. He does speeches, I say, then clamp my mouth shut. I don't want to turn this into a list. I'm not coming if the cost is me paying and getting called ungrateful when I say no. She goes quiet long enough that I think we dropped the call. I just don't want anyone upset, she says, so soft I almost miss it. I'm not upset, I say, and it's half true. I'm something sharper. I'm just done doing it like that. Okay, she says, and the word lands sideways. We'll see. She clears her throat. I'll talk to him. Please don't, I say. I don't need a mediator. I said what I can do. All right. Another pause. I love you. I love you too. We hang up. The quiet in the apartment feels like when the power blinks. Everything fine, but off by a degree. I open the family thread and scroll up. Yesterday, Aunt Melanie dropped a link to a sweet potato pie recipe with "for the weak at heart." Jerome posted a gif of someone sprinkling glitter on greens. Today is just Todd's "heads up. Claire isn't coming this year. We'll handle it." No one's tapped a heart. No what? No why? Just that sentence sitting there like a folding chair in an empty room. I thumb over to Allison's name, hover, then put the phone down again. She's always polite and in the middle, her texts careful like she's tiptoeing across ice. I'm not pulling her into this. I rinse my bowl even though there's barely anything stuck to it. The hot water goes from cold to warm after a minute, like the building reminding you it's old before it helps you. I dry the bowl with the good towel because the other one smells like onion. The motions calm my hands even if they don't fix anything. On the counter, my legal pad sits open under the fruit bowl. I write foil because I remember we were always short last year, then slash the word out because I'm not buying for a dinner I'm banned from. I add beans under eggs because I ate the last can Sunday. Next Friday's date is circled in blue pen. The line between today and the circle is long. My phone buzzes once with a text from Aaliyah. "How'd it go?" I type. "He banned me." Backspace. Type. "He said don't come." Send. 3 dots. "You okay?" she writes. "Yes," I lie. Then, "Want me to bring you dinner tomorrow?" I smile at the screen and my eyes sting. "I'm good. Thank you." I think about past years and how I kept telling myself it was easier to just do it than to ask people to help. Easier until it wasn't. The peace I was paying for never lasted past dessert anyway. By Saturday, we'd be back to normal, with me swallowing and everyone else pretending not to see. I turn off the kitchen light. The apartment dims to the glow of the street lamp slipping through the blinds. The radiator hisses. As I'm trying to swallow the lump in my throat, my doorbell rings. I wipe my palms on my jeans and buzz the door without asking who it is. The hallway light clicks on. Aunt Melanie fills the frame when I open up, coat half zipped, hair escaping the clip, a stack of foil pans balanced against her hip like cymbals. "Figured you needed these," she says, stepping in before I can make a face. She sets the pans on my tiny dining table and toes off her boots. "You got space downstairs, right?" I blink. "Hi to you, too." She grins quick and sharp. "Hi, baby. You got space downstairs? The community room?" I shut the door. "Yeah, if no one booked it." "Book it." She taps the stack. "I'll bring mac and cheese, the good one. People are tired of paying to clap." I look at her. "You saw the thread." She lifts a shoulder. "Your mother called me." Then I looked. She holds up her phone, the group chat open. Todd's. "Heads up. Claire isn't coming this year. We'll handle it." Still sitting there like a warning sign. He's lucky these phones don't come with a slipper. A laugh slips out of me, surprised. It's small and jittery, but it's there. "He told me not to come." "Good," she says, like I'd told her I'd dropped a class I hated. "Now you don't have to?" "It's 2 Thursdays away," I say, checking the microwave clock like it can confirm time. And I can't. I don't have it in me to do everything. "Who said everything?" She thunks the top pan with a finger. "Potluck, noon. Bring what you can or just you're behind." No one needs speeches. I pull out a chair and sit, the foil pans glinting under the overhead light. I think of the room downstairs, linoleum in those windows, chairs on a rolling cart, the sign by the mailboxes, "To reserve community room, email Hamza. $75 fee. Return key by 6 p.m. 75, I say out loud. She catches it. You got it? Barely, I say. I get paid next Friday. I don't say the number left in my account. I don't need to with her. She nods. He'll let you pay Friday. He likes you better than all his tenants combined. Residents, I correct automatically, and she shakes her head like the word doesn't matter. I open my laptop on autopilot. Hamza's email is in my contacts from that time the elevator got stuck, and he sent everyone an apology. Subject line, Community Room Thanksgiving. I keep it simple. Hi, Hamza. Is the community room available Thursday, 11/28 from 11:33? Happy to pay the $75 and clean up. Folding tables included. Thanks, Clara. 3B. I hit send and my stomach does a slow turn. If he says no? If he says no, we eat on the floor of this apartment and still have more fun, Aunt Melanie says, already rummaging in my drawer for a pen. She finds the legal pad. List time. Plates, cups, napkins, trash bags, serving spoons, tape. No, painter's tape. The beige kind. She writes like she's cutting a path. My phone dings a minute later. Hamza. Hey, Clara. Yes, noon to 3 is open. $75 fee covers tables, chairs. I'll leave the key at the office. You can grab it day of. Just sign the calendar by the elevator when you get a chance. Thanks for the heads up on cleanup. I exhale so hard I wobble. I forward it to my own email like I'll need proof later. He said, yes? Of course he did, she says. He likes you better than his dog. He doesn't have a dog, I say, and she snaps her fingers. That's why? I sign the paper calendar by the elevator mentally, then actually stand up. I'll go write it now so no one swoops in. I'll wait, she says, slipping her boots back on. The hallway is warm from the radiators. The calendar is taped next to the mailboxes, a grid with names scribbled in block letters. Book club, baby shower, karaoke night. Thanksgiving is a blank square. I write Clara B, 11:30 with 3. Thanksgiving potluck. My hand is steady. When I look up, Mrs. Alvarez from 2A is sorting junk mail. Party? She asks. Family, I say. You're welcome to a plate, she smiles. Save me a hand turkey. Back upstairs, Aunt Melanie has flipped to a fresh page and drawn a little box with noon inside. Text people, she says, handing me my phone. Not in the group, individually. You know how he is. I open Mom's thread first. Keeping it neutral, I type, potluck at my building's community room at noon on Thanksgiving. Bring anything or just yourself. No pressure. She replies with a single heart. It's how she says yes without saying it. Jerome. You cooking greens? I write. He answers in seconds. Bring in the famous. You want the big power strip? I smile. Yes, please. Cousin threads I don't use often. Hey, doing a low-key potluck at my building at noon. Bring what you like or just come eat. Address below. If people can't, no worries. Replies start to drip in. We're in. Want me to grab plates? I can do drinks. Do you need ice? The relief is quiet, like a door easing shut instead of slamming. I type out the address and park on the street, buzz 3B for the key 3 times before saving it to notes so I can paste instead of retyping. Aunt Melanie leans over my shoulder. Put no speeches at the bottom, she says. I leave it out and she cackles. I hesitate over Allison's name. The 3 dots from someone else's reply bubble up and disappear. My screen lights with more yeses, small and private. Then Allison's name pops into the top of my text, a new message sliding in like a held breath. Allison, is it okay if I come with the kids? Her text sits there under the others like it's nervous to be seen. A second bubble appears before I can answer. Please don't mention it to Todd yet. I want them to see you on the holiday. I look up. Aunt Melanie is watching my face like a weather report. It's Allison, I say. What's she say? She wants to come. With the kids. I type back. Of course. Noon to 3. It's low-key, potluck style. Bring anything or just yourselves. I won't Luke Todd through you. She replies almost immediately. I can bring juice boxes and paper plates. Is there somewhere to sit? Folding chairs included, I write. We'll have tables. She sends a relieved thumbs up, then, I'll text you day of when we're on our way. Thank you. Aunt Melanie exhales. Good for her. She asked me not to tell him yet, I say. I'm not telling him anything, she says. I'm telling everyone where the food is. I laugh, then open the email back to Hamza before I can overthink it. Thank you for confirming. Can I drop the $75 at the office next Friday, 11/22? I'll be in around 11:30 day of to set up if noon is the start time. I'll make sure we clean up and stack chairs. He replies while we're still at the table. Sounds good. You can slip the check under the office door if I'm out. Key will be in an envelope with your name. If you need extra chairs, text me that morning and I'll bring the cart over. Thanks for the heads up we are set up at 11:30. I feel my shoulders drop a half inch. We're official. Now make your little Clara list, Aunt Melanie says, tapping the pad with the pen tip. But keep it cheap. We go line by line and I cross things out as fast as we write them. Tablecloths, she says. Dollar store, I say. 2 plastic ones. Plates. Someone already offered, I say, checking my messages. Britt says she'll bring plates. Cups? Jerome said drinks. I'll ask him to add cups. If not, I'll grab a sleeve. Napkins. I have a pack in the pantry. Trash bags. Heavy duty, I say, scribbling a star. 1 for recycling, 1 for trash. Serving spoons. I'll text people to label their own and keep them, I say. I don't have extra. Painter's tape, she says, pleased that I remembered, for the tablecloth edges and the cords. Cords are covered, I say. Jerome's bringing the big power strip. I'll ask Hamza if there's a breaker I should avoid. She tilts her head at me, soft for once. And what are you cooking? I think about the bird, the stock, the gravy whisk, the sweat. Cornbread, I say. 2 pans. That's my limit. She nods like I've said something brave. Good. After she leaves with a promise to text me her mac and cheese grocery list. Don't worry, I've got it. I put the pad under the fruit bowl so I don't stare at it all night. I send Jerome a quick note. We'll have outlets along the right wall. Bring the power strip. I'll tape cords so no one trips. He shoots back a frying pan emoji and got you, cousin. ETA 11:45. I shower, then lay out the legal pad again because I'm me. I circle $75 and write Friday next to it. I open my bank app and move $75 from groceries to a little mental envelope. It's not a real feature, just a note in my head that means I'm eating beans and eggs more this week and next, and I can do that. I add cornmeal to the grocery list and cross off 3 other things to make room. By the time I get into the clinic the next morning, the sky is dull white and the waiting room is already a chorus of coughs and cartoons. Between a flu shot walk-in and a new patient insurance call, I text Aaliyah, lunch? We meet in the break room at 12:10 with Tupperware and a tiny hour. I slide the pad across the table. Tell me what I'm missing that won't cost me my car payment. She scans it, chewing. Tablecloths, plates, cups, napkins, trash bags, tape, spoons optional, cords, chairs covered. You need a Sharpie for labeling lids, and crayons. Crayons? For the little ones, she says. Put paper out, let them draw. It buys you 20 quiet minutes. I don't have crayons. I have a stash at home, she says. I can bring a box. We won't steal from the clinic, she adds, reading my face. Promise. I smile. Thank you. She taps my Circle $75. You good? Hamza said I can pay next Friday, I say. I'll make cornbread. Aunt Mel's covering Mac. Good, she says. Keep it simple. No martyr moves. My phone buzzes with Mom's name while Aaliyah throws her container in the sink. I open it. Mom, I might stop by for a little while. I stare at it a second. It's exactly her. I type back, noon to 3. Come whenever. No pressure. She sends back a heart and a turkey emoji that makes me laugh into my sleeve. Between afternoon appointments, I send a general note to the people who said yes. There will be outlets for crockpots. Bring a label for your dish. I have tape. No speeches. I delete that last line. I'm not poking the bear. I'm logging our last flu shot at 4:56 when my screen blinks with a new text, his name filling the top like a storm alert. Todd, hope you enjoy your little stunt. Thanksgiving morning, I pick up the envelope with my name on it from the office window ledge. The key is heavy and cold. I slipped the $75 check under the door last Friday like I told Hamza I would. He stuck a smiley face on the corner of the envelope anyway. Morning, he calls from down the hall, already wheeling a cart stacked with chairs. He's in a beanie and a sweatshirt with the building's name on it. Morning, I say. You're a lifesaver. Gonna make me a plate for this? He asks, grinning. 2, I say, and a slice of cornbread. We push into the community room at 11:20. It smells like cleaner and dust and something that feels like possibility. Light comes in sharp through the courtyard windows. I click on the fluorescents, unfold 2 plastic tablecloths from the dollar store, and smooth them while Hamza lines chairs like a Tetris master. I tape the corners with painter's tape so they don't curl. At 11:30, Aaliyah slips in with a grocery bag and a knit hat pulled low. I can't stay, she says, hugging me one-armed. My aunt will put me on dish duty if I'm late, but crayons. She pulls out 2 boxes, fat ones, and a roll of brown paper. Cover part of the table, she says, already helping me spread it. Kids can do hand turkeys. You're the best, I tell her. I know, she says, and then she's gone, the door closing on a burst of cold air. I set a Sharpie next to a stack of masking tape labels, plug in a power strip at the right wall, and tape the cord down so no one trips. My 2 pans of cornbread sit on the end of the table under clean dish towels. I keep moving so I don't think too hard about how quiet my phone has been since Todd's stunt text. No follow-up, no explosion, just silence. At 11:45, Jerome arrives exactly when he said he would, holding his giant crock pot like a baby and a coiled power strip looped over his arm. Electric greens, he announces, and I brought a surge protector in case your cousin tries to deep fry a pie. No deep frying, I say, steering him to the outlet. I tape the cords. He plugs in, opens the lid, and the room fills with garlic and smoked turkey. Lord, Hamza says from the doorway, what time is lunch? Noon, I call, writing Green's J on tape and sticking it to the crock-pot handle. Jerome leans down and sniffs. That'll preach, he says. People trickle in like the room invited them personally. Britt with a sleeve of cups and the plates she promised. My cousin Danny with a salad and a bag of ice sweating through a towel. My aunt from Dad's side, who rarely comes, holding a pie like it might fly away. I hand them painter's tape and a Sharpie. Label the dish and your spoon if you want it back. Laughter rises in little pockets as lids come off and steam fogs the windows. Someone finds the thermostat and nudges it down. The table fills with whatever people had the energy and cash for. mashed potatoes from a slow cooker, store-bought cranberry sauce in slices, a pan of roasted carrots that looks too pretty to touch. Mismatched everything. It's perfect. At 12:10, my phone buzzes. Allison, we're downstairs. I'll buzz. I meet them at the door with the key so the whole building doesn't ring. The kids barrel in with a plastic bag of juice boxes thumping their knees. Allison has the paper plates tucked under her arm and a look that says she's been holding her breath for a week. It smells amazing, she says, quiet, eyes flicking to the tables. Do you need me to do anything? Just be here, I say. You're good. The kids make a beeline for the brown paper and start tracing. Little fingers spread like starfish. A laugh I haven't heard from them in a while bubbles up when Jerome shows them how to make feather patterns with a fork. Allison exhales. She sets the plates down and helps Britt unstack cups. At 12:20, Mom appears in the doorway with a grocery bag and a half-apology smile. They were out of the fancy rolls, she says, holding up 2 bags of dinner rolls from the store. I brought these. They're perfect, I say. She kisses my cheek and squeezes my arm. Her eyes are watery but steady. It looks nice, she says. No speeches, right? No speeches, I promise. By 12:30, we're moving down the table in a loose line, paper plates bending under the weight. Someone says grace in a quick sentence without prompting, just a thank you for food and family in this room, and people murmur amen and start to eat. The noise turns soft, the way it does when everybody's chewing. Nobody performs. Jerome tells a story about a co-worker who burned a ham on purpose. Aunt Melanie swats at him with a napkin. Mom laughs into her roll. I move around with a trash bag, catching wrappers and foil, handing out extra forks, refilling the water pitcher. It feels like the old holidays before we all pretended we were on a show. I catch Allison's eye across the room. She looks lighter. The kids hold up their hand turkeys so I can admire the crooked feathers. Frame them, I tell her. She smiles for real. For a second, I let myself believe this is the new normal. Simple, messy, enough. The radiator ticks. Somewhere down the hall, someone's dog barks at a delivery. The door opens again. Cold rides in on someone's shoulders. I look up. Todd stands there tight-lipped, scanning the food like it cheated on him. He steps in like he owns the hinges, eyes flicking from the crock pots to the plates to me. His jaw is set. He smells like cold air and expensive cologne. Conversation snaps shut. The kids' crayons scratch to a stop. In the silence, the thermostat clicks. Hey, he says, like he's walked into his own kitchen and something's out of place. I stand up straighter without meaning to. Allison doesn't move. She's on a folding chair by the brown paper, a kid pressed against her thigh, her eyes on the juice box straw she's bending in half. Food looks good, Todd says, stepping toward the table, hand already half reaching for a serving spoon like the muscle knows what to do. I move, not big, just enough. I step into his path and the legs of my chair squeak. It's louder than I expect. He stops a foot from me. Up close, I can see the red scrape by his knuckle like he hit something metal or a door frame in a hurry. His eyes ask me to flinch. You're welcome to eat and help clean, I say. My voice comes out even. I didn't know if it would. His mouth twists. You're really doing this. I nod. From now on, if you host, you pay. If you want me to cook, you ask and pitch in. Otherwise, we do potluck. Chairs creak behind me, a ripple of wood and metal. Aunt Melanie folds her arms, the foil pan she brought glinting beside her like backup. Jerome sets the ladle down in his greens and leans on the table. Mom is close enough that I can feel the heat coming off her little bag of rolls. She's holding it like a peace offering. Allison's gaze drops to her lap and stays there. Todd laughs once, sharp and empty. You're really doing this here? He tips his head toward the table like it's a stage I dragged into the room. I keep my hands at my sides. Here's where the food is. You went around me, he says. You told my wife to come here like I didn't tell Allison anything, I say, and I don't look at her when I say it. I invited family to a potluck at my building. You told me not to come to your house. I listened. He chuffs air through his nose. This is petty. I can't pay your tab, I say, because I don't know how else to make him hear it. I'm not doing it any more. He looks past me at the trays, the mismatched bowls, the painter's tape holding the tablecloth corners. His jaw flexes. He takes a tiny step, like testing whether I'll move. I don't move. A fork clinks against someone's plate. Britt coughs into her elbow. One of the kids reaches for a crayon and it rolls off the table. The little clatter makes 3 people flinch. You're embarrassing yourself, he says softly, and the way he says it tells me he thinks it's true. It's a potluck, I say. You can eat and help clean, or you can go. Those are the options. His gaze flicks to Allison again, then back to me. You shouldn't have put her in this position, he says, and the you in the sentence is heavy. Allison's hand goes still on the straw. This isn't on Allison, I say. This is me and you. He takes another breath like he's winding up. Aunt Melanie's voice cuts across the space, mild as iced tea. You gonna grab a plate, Todd, or are you just here to snip the food? He swings his head toward her. She doesn't blink. Sit down, Mom says under her breath to no one in particular, the way she says careful when someone reaches for a hot pan. He looks around the room like he's trying to count votes. He finds none. Hamza's not here, which is good. I don't want him in the middle. The radiator hisses. The smell of Jerome's greens and someone's buttery carrots keeps being itself, not caring about our human mess. I point with my chin to the end of the table where I stacked what I knew I'd need, a sleeve of heavy-duty trash bags and a little pile of clean rags I brought down from my apartment and folded because I needed my hands to do something this morning. The dish towels that covered my cornbread are there too. Plate or rag? I say, steady. Your call. For a breath, he just stares at me like he can will me to move. Then he reaches past the plates, grabs a rag, and starts wiping a sticky patch with more force than necessary. The table wobbles, cranberry sauce shifts, and a few red circles smear into the plastic tablecloth. The room exhales all at once. A laugh picks up at the far end where Jerome's telling a story. Someone asks for the gravy. The kids go back to tracing fingers and making feathers into crown shapes. The hum comes back like a radio finding signal. Todd scrubs in tight, angry circles. He doesn't look at me. He doesn't look at anyone. He reaches for the roll of paper towels without asking, spritzes from the cheap spray bottle I set out this morning, and keeps going down the line. He picks up stray forks, stacks abandoned cups, and tucks napkins into the sleeve of the table to catch drips. It's not gentle, but it's useful. I move around him, handing out more labels, refilling water, keeping an eye on the outlet so no one trips. Mom drifts to my side with a grocery bag of rolls clutched in both hands, despite the empty bag. She squeezes my shoulder and doesn't say anything. It's better than an apology speech. I catch Allison trying to fold a foil lid on the sly and step in next to her. We can start packing leftovers if people are done, she says, voice low. Good idea, I say. We set up a little station at the end of the table with a stack of zip-top bags Cousin Danny brought. Allison is quick and exact, sliding portions in and pressing out the air with the heel of her hand. She labels them with my Sharpie, greens, carrots, cornbread. She never looks toward the doorway. The kids run back and forth with their hand turkeys, asking for extra brown for the turkey feet. I put the crayon box in the middle, and the little one with the juice box solemnly shares. When the first wave of plates empties, I walk over to where Todd is wiping a streak I can't even see. I hold out a plate and a fork. Here, I say, like it's a glass of water. He takes it. He doesn't say thanks. He serves himself in careful scoops, like the food might jump if he moves too fast. He sits at the end of a folding table away from the power strip, head down. He eats. He eats the greens fast. When he gets up to take his plate to the trash bag I'm holding open, he pauses. That greens thing is good, he says without looking up, like he's talking to the air between us. Jerome made it, I say. He's right there. Todd nods once, almost invisible, and tosses his plate. Thanks, he says to the bag, maybe to me, maybe to the room. We keep moving. It turns into the part of a good holiday I always liked, work that doesn't feel like a punishment because everyone's hands are in it. Jerome unplugs his crock pot and wraps the cord like a pro. Aunt Melanie folds her foil pans in half and scrapes mac and cheese bits into a bag for herself with a satisfied hum. Britt and Danny take on the cups, squishing them to stack flat. Mom stands at the sink in the tiny bathroom, rinsing my rags and wringing them out to hand back to Todd without a word. He takes them and keeps wiping. At 2:40, I tap the face of my watch and point at the chairs. Hamza left the cart in the corner for us. People get the hint. We stack, 2 by 2, and the scrape of metal legs on linoleum becomes a rhythm. The kids carry their drawings like masterpieces and ask if they can put one on my fridge. Absolutely, I say, all of them. They beam. Allison helps me lift the trash bags into the hall, where the smell is cold and cleaner, and from there we walk them out back to the dumpster. She ties the knot on one like she's ringing a bell. On the way back in, she touches my sleeve. Thank you, she says, eyes red at the edges but clear, for this. Thanks for coming, I say, and the plates, and the hand turkeys. She laughs, a soft thing. I'll text you for a photo, she says. I want to remember them being this easy. Back in the room, Todd is rolling the last of the painter's tape into a tight ball. He drops it into the trash with a little pop. For the first time since he walked in, he looks around like he's seeing the space, not just the control he didn't have in it. He grabs one end of the chair cart without being asked. Jerome takes the other. They wheel it out together. By 3:05, the tables are bare, the cords are coiled, and the floor looks like a floor again. I lock the room and slide the key back into the envelope so I don't forget it later. In the lobby, Mom hugs me and whispers, "It was good," like she's surprised. Aunt Melanie kisses the air by my cheek and says, "Next year, rotation," like it's already decided. Jerome claps my shoulder. "Text me that recipe for the cornbread so I can pretend I made it," he says, and I tell him it's on the back of the cornmeal bag. Todd lingers by the door, hands in his pockets, shoulders tight. "I'll take the last bag," he says, nodding at the small one by my feet. He waits while I tie it. He doesn't meet my eyes. When he's gone, Allison mouths, "I'll call you," and follows him out with the kids. I return the key to the office slot by 4 and head upstairs with the hand turkeys fanned on my arm. My apartment smells like cornbread and cleaner. I hang 2 drawings with magnets and put the others in a stack on the microwave. I rinse my one good knife and set it in the rack. My legs feel like I ran a race I trained for without knowing. I'm halfway through a leftover plate on my couch when my phone buzzes. Venmo. Todd paid you $40. Note. I stare at it. It's not an apology. It's not nothing. I tap the notification and watch the little pending bar flip to complete. I don't respond. I put the phone face down next to the hand turkeys and take another bite of greens. The apartment is quiet in the good way, the radiator ticking like a metronome, the day finally cooling around me. The Sunday after, my phone lights up with a new thread that isn't the old family one. Aunt Melanie, next year, rotation. Mel's house. Sign up for main side's cleanup. No heroes, no speeches. She lists 3 columns. People start dropping their names in like it's a potluck RSVP except with structure. Jerome, greens plus power strip. Britt, plates, cups, napkins. Danny, carrots. Mom, rolls, store. I watch the names settle like snow on branches. It doesn't turn into a debate. Todd chimes in after a handful of replies. Sweet potatoes plus cleanup. Allison adds juice boxes and ice. I stare at the empty dessert line. I type pie, and that's it. 1 pie. I feel something unclench in my shoulders just reading it back. Allison texts me on the side later. The kids hung their hand turkeys on the fridge. Send me a picture of yours. I take a photo of the 2 on my door, their feather scribbles wobbly and proud, and send it. She sends back a heart and a snapshot of her fridge, dotted with magnets and those same little 5-finger birds. On Monday, I knock on the office door with a foil-wrapped plate. Hamza swings it open and grins at the smell. I was gonna come scavenge, he says. I hand him the plate and a cornbread slice in its own bag. For the chairs, I say. He waves me off. For you running the whole operation without losing your mind, he says. Looked good through the window. I tell him we left the room cleaner than we found it. He nods like that's standard when I'm involved. At lunch, I hand Aaliyah her crayons back, the boxes taped shut at the corners. They earned their keep, I say. She leans against the counter and goes, You did it. I shrug. We did it. The week softens around the edges. Mom calls on Tuesday and says, That was nice, honey, like testing a new word. I say, It was. And we talk about nothing for 12 minutes. Todd doesn't call. He doesn't say anything in the old family thread. The $40 sits in my Venmo with the turkey emoji, and I don't touch it. December slides in quiet. Rent is still $125. Beans still get circled on the legal pad. The rotation thread gets pinned to the top of our text. It stays there for months, not buzzing except once in March when Aunt Melanie sends a photo of a scratch and dent roasting pan she found for $5. Claimed, she writes. Everyone reacts with a check mark. By October, the thread wakes back up. Aunt Melanie sends a list with quantities. 2 pies total, not 14. Turkey is mine, sides listed above. Drinks, boring is fine. Bring your own containers for leftovers. No glass casserole dishes with no lids. The second line is no speeches again, and she adds a wink this time. Todd texts me separately a week before. What should I bring to Aunt Mel's? He doesn't couch it in jokes. He doesn't pretend he forgot he already signed up. I send him a short list with prices because that's how my brain works. 2 10 lb bags of ice, $3 each. 24-pack seltzer, $9, $12 depending on store. 3 foil pans with lids, 8 towels. If you see heavy-duty trash bags, grab a box. He replies, Got it. No follow-up, no edge. I bake 1 pie the night before Thanksgiving. The apartment smells like butter and cinnamon. I wash the pie plate at 10 p.m. and set it on the counter with a dish towel over it so I don't wake up and decide I have to make 2. The legal pad on the table has 1 item on it, pie. I underline it and go to bed. At noon, I park in front of Aunt Melanie's and carry the pie in like I'm delivering a package I actually want. Her house smells like roasted turkey and paprika. She's got the good mac in the oven and her ancient dog asleep under one chair leg like a doorstop. She points at the counter. Put it next to the carrots, don't touch the turkey. People drift in easy. Britt stacks plates at one end of the table. Jerome claims an outlet and plugs in the famous greens. He brought the power strip anyway. Mom arrives with 2 bags of rolls and a store-bought pie she admits is backup. I tuck mine next to it with a note card that just says, Apple. Allison slips in with the kids and a tote of juice boxes that thump. The kids run to Aunt Melanie's dog and sit cross-legged around him like he's a teacher. Allison hugs me quick. Just one pie, she whispers, smiling. Just a pie, I say. When Todd comes in, he doesn't scan the table like it betrayed him. He heads straight to the counter, sets down the foil pans and the ice, and goes to the pantry to find the trash bags without asking anyone where they are. He comes back with them and wedges one into the bin, then another for recycling. He doesn't announce it. He doesn't tap on a glass. He moves through the room like a person, not a host. We eat. It's loud and warm and a little crowded the way I like it. Aunt Melanie carves with the confidence of someone who has done it since VHS tapes were a thing. Someone thanks her and she directs a fork at the rotation list on the fridge like a scoreboard. We all did it, she says. No one argues. I carry my empty pie plate to the sink after dessert and run hot water over the sugar stickiness. Todd steps around me and takes the bag out of the trash without being asked. He ties the knot quick and neat. He doesn't look at me for approval. He just goes out the back door with it. I hold the plate up out of the drip and let the door swing shut behind him. Later, when the table is mostly clear and the kids are drawing lopsided hand turkeys on junk mail and envelopes because the tradition stuck, Jerome nudges me. Best pie, he says, objectively. It was on sale, I say, and he snorts. On my way out, Mom hugs me and doesn't whisper anything complicated. Aunt Melanie points at me with a carving fork. Next year, someone else's turn, she says. I tap the pinned text thread on my phone. It's already in writing, I say. Back at my apartment, I hang a new hand turkey on the fridge with the old ones. I put my pie plate in the rack to dry. My phone buzzes once on the counter. Allison, thank you for last year, and this. I send back a photo of the hand turkeys, 3 of them now, and write, see you at rotation. The apartment is quiet in the good way again. I don't feel like a host or a problem or a wallet. I feel like a person who brought a pie and washed her dish and went home. That's enough.